an eerie sight, for my monster from his slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise, he did the mash. He did the monster mash. The monster mash.
Okay, I started this particular video over, guys, and I apologize that I had to start the video over. There was something in it that I just forgot, and I do not want people to know or whatever. I know I got to go through this all over again, but I will really quick here, and let you know that I am starting this over, because I apologize. I did not know. Well, anyway, folks, I'm back. I'm sorry about that. We're going to start this over. I made a big, humongous error on this. I already have opened up my pipe box. I slid everything out. This was my housekeeping. This is my inaugural break-in of my apple-shaped tint 03 Dracula pipe. I've already packed it because I already packed it, and I know, like I said, I screwed up. I stopped the video instead of paused it. Thank God that I did, because when I walked off screen, I realized something, folks, that I apologize. I was still in my night attire, which meant, I will say this for haha for everybody, that's the reason why I did this, because I wanted to keep this pretty much I didn't want a rated R video. I didn't want YouTube telling me, no, I can't play this video because I had no pants on. So that's the reason why I started this over. You guys can laugh along with me if you want. That is fantastic. But this is my housekeeping. I'm breaking in my Dracula today, and this is what I wanted to show you. But what I need to go back to where I started off on this, and I'm glad I killed the video and restarted it, because it makes more sense now. I started chemotherapy for my cancer, and I mean a very high, could kill me dose. I mean, yeah, they try to watch that. Don't get me wrong. They're not saying they're trying to kill me. Such a high dose, because this cancer is pretty aggressive and it's moving pretty fast. So they wanted to start things as fast as they possibly could, because they can't go in internally and try to cut it out, because there's too many factors that they would probably kill me if they went in and tried to do surgery. So with that being said, they gave me I was in for my chemotherapy on Wednesday, and I had spent almost between 6 and 8 hours sitting there getting pumped full of the poison to start this chemotherapy. I was fine that day. I felt good. No problem. I said, that piece of cake. Next day, yesterday, I got so violently sick. It took me forever to get to a point where I could even do anything on YouTube, or I made a video for Sun Arrow's mom, because I think that's a special situation there, and she needs all of our blessings, because she just went through open heart surgery, a cath or whatever they did, but it was pretty nasty. So I gave her a shout out personally yesterday, and we all need to keep her in our minds and prayers also. And I still need your guys' prayers and thoughts and support. I know some of you are saying, oh, it's just another person with another complaint and this, that, and the other. Now, mine, I'm gonna tell you folks, this is pretty serious. This is stage 4. I'm not coming out of it. Now, let me say this by saying this. I know I've hashed this out a little bit before on a few of my other videos. It doesn't matter that I've got stage 4 cancer. I'm fighting this tooth to nail, and hopefully they'll be able to shrink the nodules and the masses down to a point where I can live for a long time. I'll probably would be with radiation and chemotherapy for quite a while. And I understand that, and I'm going to live with it. That's what God has dealt me, and I'm going to deal with it. So right now, yesterday, I went in yesterday morning and got an extra pump put on me. If anybody knows about how they pump you full of stuff for so many days after they do the initial chemotherapy. And I got my pump on, but you can't. I can stand up now. I'm sorry to say that before I was, and you can see the pump there that they got hooked into me and hooked up into my chest where they're pumping the stuff into me. That's a 5-day process that I've got to wear this around, and sponge baths, bird baths, and all kinds of that stuff to keep me going. And the chemotherapy dries you out tremendously. They tell you have to stay hydrated. So I have to keep something with me at all times, drinking something. And the best preference, as we all know, is the electrolyte type stuff, the ones that's got the vitamins in it, but you don't want the high sugared stuff, no. So my personal preference, and yeah, I'll drink a maybe one sugarized drink during the day, but mainly it's going to be this regular old H2O water that my ice has melted because it's been sitting there for a while. Forgive me for doing that every once in a great while because I'm going to have to, because I need to keep hydrated as best I can, and especially when I'm going to break this pipe in, it's going to be the same thing. Now, here we go again. I already folded it up and set it over here, but I'm smoking McBaren's. I will be smoking McBaren's HH Old Dark Fire. That Pipe Cat was kind enough to send me a bunch of samples, and like I said before, I will beat a dead horse on this to say thank you, Pipe Cat, for all of it that he sent me. He sent me so much of samples that I've got enough to figure out which Englishes and which type of little bit of aromatics that he sent me, if I like them really well, and I'm healthy enough to be able to smoke them. Pardon me again. I just can't seem to get enough in me right at the very second I really started to get what I call very dry mouth. But anyway, with all that being said, this is what I want to get into, what I want to break into, and what I want to give you a review of the pipe and the HHO Dark Fire from McBaren and see what it's like, because what I get off this, what I was saying before I killed my video and had to start over, was I get a childhood memory, because we had a few butcher shops in our area when we first moved to the state of Montana that did some bolognas and stuff that we loved, and then they did after hours processing of our animals if we wanted them processed. Most of the time we cut up our own. The only thing that we would have them do is we'd take so much of it in and have them make it grind it into hamburger for us, or make Thuringer, summer sausages, that type of thing out of it. And that smells of the bologna side of it is what I'm saying, the beef bologna side of it. That's what this stuff smells like to me, people. And it just, to me. Now, everybody, like I said, is different on that. Make sure I still had a decent draft there. But my sense of there's a meat flavor there that I actually like it. It brings back childhood memories, of good memories of when we got all of our processed meat back, that we, if we did take it in, and I enjoyed that smell. I mean, I didn't enjoy cutting up meat all the time, cutting up wild game, but we did because we had to survive and we had to eat. So that's how we lived back then in those times. And I still go hunting, and I still only hunt for the meat. I don't just go out there for trophy hunting. That's not what it's all about to me. It's about to extend what our food intake is through the year, and to give us a variety, because wild game is actually healthier for you. and it supplements our income of meat and stuff, so we don't have to spend as much money as going to the grocery store, as you want to say. So, but back to my cancer stuff. Please, people, bear with me with this. I'm going to keep you updated all the time. But the first day was fine when they gave me the stuff. The second day, I have been sick ever since. Today, I'm feeling a little bit better, but I got a little bit of the. Now I'm not trying to exaggerate that, people. But if I sit here every once in a while, you'll see me just every once in a while. It's not, and that was the exaggerated, just to explain what it does. I'll start to move or something, and I'll get a little bit of a tremor from it. They got, like I said, they got me hooked up to that pump. That's on there for 5 days. So if they would have put it on the day that they were supposed to, right after I got my treatment, then it would have went into Sunday, and those guys aren't going to be there on a Sunday. So they put it on me yesterday, so it'll go off Monday. It'll shut off, and then I'll have to go in and have it removed, and then get set up for my next appointment. So they're going to be doing a lot of massive testing to get me on a baseline of figuring out where they're going to go with what treatment, if they're going to start adding some radiation with it or just keep on with the chemo. We don't know yet. So they're going to be doing another CAT scan and some more testing next week. So please pray for me. Please keep me in your mind and everything on this, because I'm hoping I get good results initially so that I don't have to go through such a strong dosage every time that I go in. I'm assuming that I'm going to get put on a pretty high dose of something anyway, but what, we don't know yet. But how much of it and how strong of each individual chemical that they put in me, how it's going to be. But with further ado, and a lot less talking about my cancer treatment and some explanations, I've learned some things on some lighters. Now, I said it right. I didn't say pipes like I did the last time. On lighters, on how to fill them, which I was so surprised that I knew this, because I used to fill propane tanks, and it's the same process. Bleed the air out of your propane tank while you're filling it with gas, so you'll get the proper amount of gas in your propane tank. And anyway, and I was just stuffing the valve thing in there and just filling it up without bleeding the air off of it first, or get everything out of it before I filled it back up. So I learned a lesson on that, folks. A nice lady at my brick and mortar that I bought I got this one here, which is a Camoys, which actually, for as inexpensive as they are, they both work really well. I am pleased. I bought two of them because I love my Zippos. I carry my Zippos when I'm out showing off my Zippos, because I got some special engraved Zippos. But I found out that these little guys, like this Jet Line, very inexpensive. I was surprised when I saw the price on that. I said, I've got to have it. So, and then also, people, I'm going to say this real quick while we're doing this. When you buy, now I'm not trying to do the shameless advertisement for a company. Buy 3 times to 5 times filtered butane when you buy butane. And I am going to say that I'm gonna do this, people, please. So I hope the company doesn't scream and holler and say copyright. You don't need to be dissing us like you are. But this stuff right here is, I don't know if it's even single filtered. I don't know. It says multi-fuel, universal tip, and I don't see anything on here that says how many times that has been filtered. All I know is the stuff that has not been filtered at least 3 times, bare minimum. The stuff that I just bought is 5 times filtered. It takes all the impurities in that real fine um, material that goes through there that doesn't get processed out when they're making the butane, that it can clog up your tips of your lighters, and then you basically, if you can't get that blown out and cleaned out, you're going to just have to throw away your lighter. You just spent however much money on a lighter. And I've seen these lighters up to 300 and some odd dollars, which I don't understand what makes them so special. But less than $20 a piece for these guys. Let me say here, I need to do something. I need to get my, so I can see everything. Sorry, Sasquatch, I had to turn it. But when I learned and was taught by the lady at the brick and mortar, she said it's a simple little trick. And then when she started explaining to me, I said, "Oh God, you got to." It's just like your propane tanks. You got a bleeder valve on it. When you're filling it up, you're bleeding off the air so that you'll get the gas, the liquid gas, and it worked. And I'm just flabbergasted. I got two very excellently working lighters. I mean, they work fantastic now. Once I figured out how to fill them properly. So with all that being said, no further ado, let's get into this. I've been in this almost, well, going on 16 some odd minutes here. Here's my inaugural light. Hopefully I've got at least one of them. And I think I want to use my little guy here, my handmade that I built for myself, my little deer antler tip. It's a white-tailed deer antler tip. So let's get this lit and going. See, lights on the first time when you use the right fluid also. That's been filtered correctly. I'm surprised because sometimes I'd have to sit there and get it a couple times to get it to light, and come to find out that's probably what it was the other filter, trying to get that junk out of it. And I hopefully got this cleaned out correctly to that I didn't ruin it. So here we go. Okay, the charred light taste. No real tongue bite yet. I can't. And that's a really super, super, super clean taste. Now, when I get down further into the bowl, maybe I'll get some other dimensions of this. And it may take a couple bowls to get a little bit of dimension flavors and complexity and all that, as we call off of this, of what it tells you what you think of it, because everybody's taste buds are different. I mean, we're going to be similar on some things, but we're not going to be 100% perfect. So, typical char light. Now I'm grabbing my jetliner just to show you. The McCoys, I did that one just for to start out, but this one's the one I was afraid of because I've used a lot of that other lighter fluid through it, butane, and I see that's lighting on the first light every time now. There before I tried to pump some stuff, this good stuff through it and blow things through it, and hopefully I got all the little tiny particles out of it. It lights on the first time every time. I mean that's just amazing to me because sometimes I was having to hit it once and then you hit it twice and then it starts to work. So excuse me, I sucked a little bit down my throat instead of going back through my nose. I'm sorry about that. That just caught me a little bit there. I don't want to heat that up too much because, like I said, I want to break this in slow and correctly so I don't char the bowl too bad or put a bad spot in it or whatever you want to call it. But my initial impression on this HHO Dark Fired is it's very clean. And what I mean by clean, there's no overpowering flavors of one thing over another. And I'm sorry I don't have that right here in front of me of the of what's all in it. And I should have had that written down, and I apologize, folks, for that. I just realized that I didn't do that because I was going to do it, and I just spaced it out. It's just got a real hint there for me of a meat-based type of a flavor, but it's not overwhelming. It's not strong. I'm getting a clean burn, clean taste, clean. And folks, it burns well. I just do that because I'm trying to not have to use the lighter on it because I don't want too much of that butane. Butane in itself doesn't have a real strong pungent like the Zippo lighter fluids or anything like that. I and it's thing fairly lit pretty good for what it is, and in the stringy what it the pressed, and then they break it up and put it in the containers. It it burns very well, and it's not so wet that it you're not getting that have to relight. And go back to the pipe. The pipe drafts really well. I mean, it pulls through very well. I'm not having any difficulties. I did pack this bowl just perfect. I think I really did a very excellent packing on it. So it's not too loose. It's not too tight of a draw where I'm sitting there really fighting it. Too tight of a draw usually ends up you having to light it 4 or 5 million times. Way, way, way too loose. You burn it too fast, and you can burn your pipe up, and then you don't get a proper smoke out of your tobacco because it's just burning it up, and you're going, well, where did my smoke go? I was wanting to sit here for at least 45 minutes, maybe an hour and a half, whatever. And because we all have different size, I've got all kinds of different size bowl pipes up there. If I want just a few minute, 2 or 3 minute bowl, I can pick one and do that. That's got a really small bowl on it, and I do have one that I use specifically for that in a nice little briar that I can get an hour smoke out of it if I smoke it correctly, but I can also get a 10-minute smoke out of it if I do it also. And there, folks, I rattled just long enough that I lost it, so which is no big deal. That's what lighters are made for. We all understand that. And I've said this in just about every video that I've done. Yes, that's what lighters are for. And I like what I learned from my local. I give them kudos for explaining this, and somebody there that had enough knowledge to know to bleed off everything, bleed your air out of it. Then when you put your butane in it, you're filling it with butane. You're not pushing it against the volume of the air that's still left in your, if you folks understand what I'm getting at. That volume, you're pushing against that volume in air. How can you get the butane in there to be able to use this? Now, I can feel the weight of the butane in there now, too, since I did that. It's heavy-weighted pipe. I mean, a heavy-weighted lighter. There I went again. Heavy-weighted lighter. And you can tell when you got it pretty well full. Before I was bleeding it off, I was getting butane spitting back out of the valve down here, and because it was the air trying to push against there and pushing everything out. Now once I bleed all the air off, this thing fills up quickly, perfectly, no splatter. I count to about 80, and it's got plenty of lighter fluid in it. Excuse me again, folks. I did it again. And I apologize for all that phone noise. I forgot to shut it off again, folks. I am very, very sorry, but I am waiting for phone calls and stuff also. So please forgive me on that. I did do that. And this is so clean tasting. I do get a little bit of a grassy hay note now since I'm getting it down to I've got maybe an eighth or so of a bowl smoked down so far. Pardon me for that again, because that's a side effect of all this treatment and stuff. So please forgive me for that. But I personally like the cleanness, that little bit of a slight meaty type. It's there, but the hay notes, the grassy notes and stuff are there. I'm going to have to do some reading up on this a little bit more, but I like this stuff. I'm actually loving this stuff, folks. Now, this is being my third light, and you can see it's working really well if I don't just let it sit here. Room note. I like the room note. My wife may not care for the room note, but I enjoy the room note. Room note is not so strong that it's overwhelming and with a rubbery, burnt latakia and a little bit of preak spiciness there that sometimes is so overwhelming it'll chase even myself that does smoke. It chase me out of the room because it's so strong. This is not. This is so mild, so great, tastes so good. I'm enjoying it. And you can see with the proper light, proper char on there, and the proper draft, not so tight that I like a tight bowl. Don't get me wrong, but I don't like it so tight that I can't get enough air in there to keep it. So I'm learning. Here I go again. I'm learning a process of how to pack these so I can get a consistent burn all the way through and not have to just sit there and keep using my lighters. We know what lighters are for, and it's no problem to relight in between your bowls, because sometimes you'll get here yakking like I am right now, and this might go out. So be it. I got a lighter right there. I can refire it up and keep on going. But as you can see, no, I didn't have to. And I sat there for quite a little bit of time yakking about this. Normally, you'll see me set it up here. I'm not really clenching it. I'm just pushing it up against my lips to hold it there so I can balance things. And I can still get a draft through it just like that. No tongue bite, no lip burn yet of any sort whatsoever. It's just fantastically great, folks. I think that this, like I was saying in my one video, this will be my forever pipe. I'll probably smoke this one a little bit more, even though I've got some free hands and some volcanoes and I've got some Stanwells. I got a Stanwell that I want to get it broke in so bad that I can't wait to get it broke in because it was a special gift. Yeah, I paid for it, but it was still a special gift because I got a free tin of tobacco with it, and I already did that review on that I want to try, and it's Colt Blood Red Moon. I want to try that cherry flavor so bad because I'm a cherry fanatic. Between raspberry and cherry, those are my, and chocolates. Don't get me wrong, my aromatics, and then here we go again. Got to throw the vanilla in there. I am an aromatic by heart, but I'm learning a whole new world of this English. Now, let me say it this way because my terminology sucks. There's a lot of different flavors of Turkishes, Orientals, Balkans, Englishes, and I can keep going, folks. I don't know. I need to develop and build a library, a dictionary library is what I'm saying, of tobacco smoking. I need to eventually get that. There's all kinds of sources out there, but I need to get um, a tobacco dictionary library for dummies. You know, the old dummy books. I need to build me one and then get it printed out so I can reference things quickly enough because it's taken me forever. The stummel is the bowl that goes up to, and it's even the piece that goes up to where your tenant goes into your stem, and then it goes all the way up to your fishtail or whatever style of tail that you have here of your for clinching, and then your button. We all know that that's your button. So I'm learning. Don't get me wrong, I'm learning. But it's a process. It's going to take time, and a lot of you guys have been doing it long enough that you can rattle it off like nothing. It's just water off a duck's back. You can tell everybody every piece. It's like your draft hole inside, your angle of your draft hole, so you can get your, especially on your really, like the Sarge and Savinellis, the saxophones and stuff. They've got a really weird way that they have to drill into them to make that work correctly. And then it's hard to clean them because of that. So you got to, basically what I do on all of my saxophones, because I got quite a few of them, I wait till they get, I'll do the basic bowl, wipe out, clean out, and brush out, and then wait till it gets completely cooled off and no heat in it. Then I'll pull the stem out and then do the stem cleaning and then finish out the rest of the draft hole and all that stuff and that preparation after that. Because I'm also turned into, and a few people have taught me this, and I won't mention Pipe Cat's name again, but he's taught me a few things because he's a clean freak when it comes to keeping his pipes up. He's really, really good at that. He's taught me some things on that too. And I've learned from all of you. I learned bits and pieces from all. I take all your guys' information and sift it out and take the good parts of it and use it for my own purposes that I know that are true to cleaning and maintenance and taking care of. I've already did that for doing my restorations on pipes and stuff. I do that and everything so that I can make these pipes last forever because I have to. I've got plenty of pipes that last me a lifetime if I want to smoke them all, and if the Lord willing that I can be around long enough to smoke most of them, I'll eventually smoke most of them. Not all of them, but most of them. Because there's some collectors that I just probably won't ever get around to smoking them. But with that being said, this is going to be one of my most go-to pipes. I've got several lay here that I rotate out because I like to. It is a proven fact. If you take care of your pipes and you let them rest correctly and don't just keep smoking them every day until they're just destroyed, or so caked up you can't get anything through them, and blah 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 blah. You can get a lifetime use out of all of them and enjoy all of them. So I've got some interesting pipes. See, I sat there. I knew it was going to happen, but I did it on purpose. Now, And this stuff cakes up really nice. It's not a sticky cake. It is a dry cake. I will say that some of the aromatics get kind of sticky, and then you have to break it up, and so you can get air to go through them on some of them, not all of them, but some of them you have to do that to get air back through them. So my impressions of this through the first eighth or so of the bowl, I wished I could have been on here long enough to have gotten to a half a bowl instead of rambling. I'm into this 35 minutes already, and I need to let you guys go because I know it does get boring after a while just listening to the same ramblings over and over and over. But my impression of McBaren's H&H Old Dark Flake, or Old Dark, now I can't even say it now. I'm sorry, guys. Old Dark Fired. I like it. I love it. It'll be in my rotation by the time I'm done doing this and getting myself very familiarized, and when I'm fluid enough to be able to, or healthy enough to be able to smoke and get them, I'm going to have my huge list of rotation. I thought I was just going to do a top 10, but I don't think that's going to work. I like so much of this stuff out here. I've been very pleased with most brands. And yes, I'm going to say this just as a real quick rant, is that, yeah, I'm kind of PO'd at McBaren. Don't get me wrong, Dunhill's doing the same thing. We're losing some of their stuff. But when McClellan's went out, I hadn't got to try any of their stuff until I was able to grab the 200 grams of Throgmorton Cellar. I fell in love with them. I can't get it anymore without paying 2 arms and a leg and some appendages and stuff to get it, and I'm not going to. I'm going to savor what I have, and hopefully I can horse trade some off of somebody down the road here, I hope, or out of kindness of people's hearts. I'm not begging people. I'm just saying, if they did, I would have not say no, because I like Throgmorton Cellar very much. Now that's that crossover. Well, I call it a crossover, please. Now, people correct me if you want to. It is a whiskey topped cask tobacco that has a lot of English characteristics to it. So that's the reason why I call it a crossover. So, but anyway, back to what I'm smoking today. I'm getting this inaugural break in. I will smoke it down, and then I'll give you a final, some other time, review of what I thought of it. But my first impressions, my first part of the bowl, and what I'm learning today with this. Thank you, Pipe Cat, for sending it to me so I could try it. I like it. I will be getting some more of it. Um, at this point, this first initial bowl says it all. It's great. I like it. No wonder you like it so well, and it's one of your go-to tobaccos. So with all this said, I've been on here 58 minutes, and by the time I get this edited and added and whatever else, it'll be longer than that. So thank you folks for putting up with me, and I appreciate everybody. Please keep me in your prayers and your thoughts and everything, because that helps me mentally get through my cancer. Now, the smoking part of it, I know you guys are all out there thinking, but then why is he smoking? You've got my lung test and all that stuff came out negative, perfect, clean bill of health on that side of it, because they also checked for that. Said that's all perfectly fine. This other cancer is from another situation that developed years ago, and it went away because we cured it. I was in remission, but for whatever reason, all cancers can come back whenever they decide to come back, and this is a reoccurring cancer, and it is called Barrett's esophagus. Even though it's in a different spot, it's still Barrett's esophagus. So there's your technical term if you want to go to through Google or whatever and read about it to get a little bit more knowledge of me and what my ailment is there and what my cancer is. It's called Barrett's esophagus. So with all that being said, folks, I thank you and I appreciate you and this YouTube community and Pipe Club community has supported me and have been good to me, and I want to repay it back as best I can when I can and when I'm healthy enough to. Like I said, the last 2 days, and I'm feeling it right now. So, but I still want to get through this bowl. It'll take me a while, and but I am going to make it, guys. I am a fighter. I'm going to fight this stuff to tooth and nail, and I want to win. I want to be around 100 more years. So, crusty is and as lucky I'll be at that age, I still want to be here. So I love you all, and thank you again, Pipe Cat. This is a very good smoke. So you guys have a good rest of your week. Take care. I'll keep everybody in my thoughts and prayers. Let's keep Sun Arrow's mom in our prayers because she needs it. She's recovering. She needs those prayers. I need my prayers. Pipe Cat himself needs prayers. Please, folks, give him and show him some love. He needs it. He's been through some bad situations in the last 4 days that none of us need to go through. And I hope everything comes out okay for him also. So with all that being said, good day and have a good rest of your week.
I was working in the lab late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight, for my monster from his slab began to rise, and suddenly